What is going on? And we are live as Sheets pops right in. How's it going, man?
Look at that. I forgot to tell you the Al Bundy story. We'll do it another time.
Ah, damn it. Now I have to wait till whatever.
maybe after. It might be NFSW.
Yeah.
NSFW, whatever that is.
NSFW.
NSFW.
So I have a few things that I'm considering changing. I kind of am becoming re-intrigued in the Dodgers situation.
Oh, are they playing?
Well, if they play, that's the problem. It's a big slate, and it's not like the perfect spot or anything, but there is also some crazy winds that are a little bit it's like 24-mile-an-hour winds, and which in San Diego is a lot. And it's blowing a little bit in from left, but a little bit in from right, but a little bit cross field. So considering that one, and then the roof being open in Texas makes me much more interested in Toronto than I had ever planned on being today.
Interesting.
So I just threw those out there. Now it's not what I've got. What I've got as far as stacks are, I'm still extremely high on Philly. It's a weaker Philly lineup. It's also easier to get in for what it's worth. I'm high on Houston. I'm high on more as complementary stacks, but KC, Detroit, and the White Sox, even with Caprillion. Caprillion was announced out, which means it's more of a bullpen game. So I'm less interested in the White Sox as a full stack than I am as a mini stack, because I would rather not stack against a bullpen game as 5-man goes, because we've just seen it over and over again. It's hard to do.
What's the deal with the Minnesota game?
As of right now, the Minnesota game is possible. Do you have any interest in that game? I don't have any interest there, so I don't.
No, but I'm trying to like set my builds here, to exclude them when I run it,
Yeah, I think that there's a chance it plays. It's 59 degrees. I can't figure out what I'd want to do exactly in that game, so I might just X those guys out anyway and just sort of live with whatever happens just in case. And this run line has dropped a little bit even in Coors today. And these guys are not getting owned. So I actually have forced like my one-ops and stuff to be from the Coors games, just because totally unowned, especially the righties. It's still Coors,
Yeah, I agree with that.
And if we didn't like it early because that would look like it was going to get ownership, and now it doesn't look like it's anything, right? I mean, I'm not missing anything there, right?
Yeah, no.
So that's what I'm sort of doing. And then I'm mixing my pitchers. I am going to use in my big buy-in as of right now. It feels a little risky because I am worried that they're not going to let Lodolo go 100 pitches again. He's gone 102 in a row. He's a super talent. But you have a Milwaukee team. He struggles with walks. Milwaukee doesn't walk. He struggles with, that's basically mostly his struggles. Milwaukee also has a 27%. It's the highest strikeout rate versus lefties of any lineup out there today. So I am going to play the Lodolo Giolito in my main lineup. I know you hate Giolito, so I know you're not doing that. But I am going to play Lodolo and Giolito in my main lineup as of right now. And other than that, I have more Ray than the other guys. But I also next would be more Montas than Morton for me. And I am throwing a few Daniel Lynch and Brian Bello lineups out there. But you're not
playing McCullers?
I have a couple McCullers too. He's sort of in the same as the Lynch category for me in terms of how much I have him. He's fine. I don't know. I don't love him as much as the other guys who are just above him. But I also like. I forgot to mention. I still do like the Orioles as a sneaky one, and I also have a full Atlanta stack on FanDuel where I'm not playing Robbie Ray. But maybe the most important thing to point out is that Wander Franco on FanDuel is
300, right?
Yep. You kind of,
is that true?
Yeah. I don't care who the other pitcher was. You could put anybody out there, and not to mention this guy's like he's been hurt all year, but he's a superstar.
You don't think they're going to remove him from the player pool?
No, he's in there.
Can you do that? I mean,
yeah, they did it one time on Bartolo Colon when he was pitching on his 44th birthday. They made him $44. I used him in a $1,500 buy-in that day.
$44?
He was $44 on FanDuel.
Was that like supposed to be a joke? It's so funny.
It was, yeah. That was on purpose.
And is Wander Franco's, he turned 300 today or something?
I don't know what that one is about. I honestly don't know what happened with it because it's not like they do.
I know what it is. It literally was 3,000. They left the zero.
They just messed up with the zero. It's pretty funny. They can't correct it now. It's too late. He's already in the lineup.
I have to tell you, that's what's going on with the UFC. It's a terrible thing happened. I don't know if you don't follow it, so you weren't looking, but like the main event, the guy missed weight, and they basically redid like the whole card, like the 3 main cards, and the main fights, and they can't change the salaries. So basically, like 8 fighters are now mispriced. It's like ridiculous.
Oh my God, that's really weird.
It's just stupid.
I mean, that's got to happen sometimes with those sports, right?
But not like that. Not like this. Like it literally, it's sometimes you get like one guy that gets replaced, but literally 3 fights. And what they did was they cross fight like fighter A is fighter now fighting fighter B, and fighter B is fighting C. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is weird. But it's the thing about the slate today is I really don't think you need to worry about. I mean, I know we said it earlier, but I think it even more so now. Like you just don't need to worry about anybody's ownership that much. Maybe it's weird that Jordan Alvarez is projected to be the 2nd highest owned player on the slate, and Jordan Alvarez is the one Houston guy who I'm more consciously. I do have some of them, don't get me wrong, but I'm less on him than I am the rest of Houston because he hasn't looked right. I honestly am surprised they keep playing him. I just don't think he's been right for a while. And he, as the 2nd highest owned player on this, I mean, he hasn't hit a home runs like in, I don't know, like 20 games. Like, yeah. And can we take a quick moment to just appreciate that Aaron Judge is like legitimately having one of the greatest seasons in the history of baseball?
Yeah.
I mean, what is he like? He's like 10th in stolen bases too, on top of everything else.
Is that really true?
Yeah. He's got like 18 stolen bases. Whenever they walk him now, he just runs, which I love. He's going to win this MVP by more votes than anybody's won one other than maybe.
Really? You think so? It's that easy?
Oh, I don't think there's any way you could like if people will lose their mind if he doesn't win the MVP.
Well, I mean, I could argue Ohtani, no?
I couldn't argue Ohtani.
Okay.
I mean, Judge is like single-handedly kept the Yankees afloat. Like he's their offense. There's all the memes out there. I mean, it's not just that he's destroying everybody; he's destroying them by such a wide margin.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
there's just nobody near him. You know what I mean? It's not like it's offense and defense. Like you could actually have Ohtani, being a Cy Young candidate, and I still think Judge would win it pretty easily. What is he up by home runs now? He's up by over 20.
That in and of itself is pretty ridiculous.
It's just absurd these days. I mean, and also he leads the league in walks. He leads the league in on top of it, which makes it even harder, obviously, to do. Sometimes I just wish he wouldn't walk. I guess he's only up by. Schwarber got within 19 of them, but in the American League, that's right. That's crazy. So Ohtani is 2nd in the American League, but he's 22 home runs behind him.
Right.
That's just like, I don't know how this guy doesn't win the MVP. I mean, his advanced numbers are, I was looking at some stuff today because not only he's hitting 300, he leads the league in walks, but he strikes out so often. He struck out 150 times. And basically, like if the ball's in play, it's a home run, a single, and then he goes out there and he steals 16 bases or what he's got. So I guess he's 15th in the league in stolen bases. So maybe I gave him a little too much credit there, but still, that's pretty amazing. IKF is Barry Bonds at 3rd base. I don't know what that means entirely. Yeah. All right. So, Sheets, what are you doing today?
Currently, I have 40% Lodolo.
Ooh.
And that's the hot pitcher take. And then I'm actually pretty chalky in whatchamacallit, in the hitting. I have Philly, Houston, Atlanta, Arizona. Actually, Atlanta's not chalky, I guess. Philly, Houston, Atlanta, Arizona, Toronto, Washington. I do have Dodgers.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty spread out.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm going. Yeah, I'm forcing in right now some Toronto stacks. And again, I like Dunning in general, but I just can't help myself here. It's I think Toronto's an elite offense, and they're getting no love, so I will show them some love. Let's see real quick. Guys, I'll get to questions in just a second. If you want to pop them on in, please do. I'm trying to figure out a way to get at my Toronto, Detroit together with Montas and Morton, which is probably going to be hard.
They have Aaron Judge leading off. That's just not even fair. I mean,
he should be leading off. Every time a guy makes a run like this, I feel like you should have him leading off.
Just the more at bats he gets, the better. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention that he leads the league in walks. I mean, just from a game playing standpoint, it even makes some sense. And it's not like there's anybody on the team who you trust to get on base in this lineup they have today. I mean, it's ridiculous. I was going to lock in Stanton if he played on FanDuel because he's 2,700, but I couldn't quite get there. Let's see, shortstop, cheap shorts. You got a cheap shortstop out there, Sheets, that you're using any of tonight?
Hold on, let me just update the FanDuel thing for a second. Yeah, I want to make sure there wasn't a misprint before I uploaded that. The Wander Franco thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, pretty wild.
As far as cheap shortstops is CJ Abrams for the Nationals.
CJ, that's the one who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Which he actually stole bases sometimes. Like he does in theory more than he actually does, but maybe it's because he never gets on base.
My shortstop pool here is pretty fishy. I mean,
is it?
Well, I got CJ Abrams. I got Javi Baez. I have some of him. I guess it's not that fishy, I suppose. I might go all over the place. I have 10% Bo Bichette. I got some Bogarts. Oh, this is kind of cool. Do you have any Ross Stripling?
No, I couldn't quite talk myself into it. I tried. I actually think that as a one-off, I would consider. So I really think that stadium. I mean, just from even being there and seeing it, it plays very different with the roof open. So I think Seager is a really, really good off the board play. But again, everybody's kind of off the board today, so maybe you don't need to do all of that. But I have a lot of Elvis Andrus. 2,800 feels like a reasonable price, and yeah, that's what I'm doing.
You play yeah, I got a bunch of pitchers. Well, when I X out Giolito, that's what's going to happen. I have some of the Jason Alexander.
Oh wow, that's just you got the Costanza
in the lottery. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anything's possible over there.
I guess, yeah. I mean, to be honest, it does feel outside of, and I know you don't like Giolito, but outside of Giolito and especially Robbie Ray, I don't really see anybody that's going to just, I mean, without a complete game kind of performance, that's going to actually be able to have a score that matters. So if you do want to spend up on some of these lineups, I have no problem with if you want to spend down at pitching on weirdness, especially in the lottery, because I think that it could be one of those nights where everybody, the highest scoring guys, around 25 points. And if you get 15 out of Alexander or 16 or 18, you're looking pretty good. And that's possible. It's totally on the board. I didn't get to the Reds, which was my plan at the beginning of the day, and I just didn't get there. All right, let's see. Is McCullers plus Morton with Philly enough to get different in high stakes single entry? No. I mean, yes, that's fine. I think McCullers Morton with a Philly stack is completely fine in a single entry. Sheets, would you agree with that?
McCullers and who? Morton?
Yeah, he's worried about being too chalky, but I wouldn't worry that much in the single entry person.
I wouldn't worry too much about the prices tonight. I mean, about the ownership tonight.
Yeah. And Philly lost a little bit of its appeal to some people, I think, with Harper and Castellanos, obviously both not being in the lineup. It's not crazy strong. Do want to point out, like I said, some of the values that I really like. I like Gavin Sheets I'm a little concerned because I don't know what Oakland's going to do in terms of this bullpen game and if they bring in lefties. But then again, why would you bring in lefties to pitch to a White Sox team that's all righties? So I'm trying to figure that one out. Michael Taylor, Tapia in your stacks of Toronto. I wouldn't play him separately. Basically, anybody from Detroit or KC is value everywhere.
You think of Aaron Hicks as 2,200.
Oh, Aaron Hicks as well.
I just hate him. I mean, I hate him. You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, there's probably a pretty good argument that we should be playing Rasmussen today. I don't really know why we're not. I mean, look at this Yankees lineup. IKF is batting cleanup. This guy went 600 plus at bats without a home run. You know, Miguel Andujar, who couldn't make this regular Yankee lineup, is batting fifth. Really, the only guy you're worried about is Judge and Torres, I guess. But like Rasmussen has beaten this team when they've been a lot better than this, and he's looked really good lately. I kind of think that Rasmussen might be the play. That might be a better play than McCullers and these other guys, and you will get lower ownership as well. Maybe I'm going to do that, actually. I think I'm talking myself into it. I don't need extra Giolitos. I can throw a Rasmussen in there. What is Rasmussen going to be owned even? I mean, I feel like some people are going to catch on to this, right? Like,
hang on. I'll be right back. Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, take your time. Rasmussen. Yeah, I've got him at 4%. I mean, he could win this slate as a pitcher. Like, that's wild. All right. IKF after. Oh, that's hysterical, Cam. I think that's really funny, actually. Fraley Friedel combination, Reds value you were mentioning. Yeah, I think that's very viable. I just didn't get to it with my stacks, but I totally support it. I totally like that Reds overlook stack. So I'm totally on board with that. 3-man Yankee stack: Paul O'Neill, Danny Tartabulla, Costanza. Well, I love Adam with the Seinfeld reference. Good to see Adam back. I always like to see Adam in chat. And he goes away for some of the baseball season, so we're nice to have you back, buddy. Got Carroll for Arizona as a one-off. I like that. I do like that quite a bit. Carroll, Friedel, that's actually a tough one. I actually think I'm going to go with Friedel instead.
Yeah, so FanDuel. How much owned is it? What do you think that guy's going to be owned?
Who?
Wander Franco.
20-something%.
That's it?
So what I did is I put shortstops almost exclusively, except for my one big buy-in. Shortstops are in my flex every time because they're all cheap anyway. Like Gunnar Henderson, I love Pena. And you play those two guys together. Not only can you do everything else you want, you get two really good bats in. That's going to be a very unlikely combination of the way people are going to use it because they're not usually going to double shortstop cheap.
Right.
All right. What else have we got here? We've got a delivery coming. I think I'm gonna go a little bit because I'd like to double check the weather in the Dodger game if I can.
Let me check. What does Roth have?
He's got it as he doesn't know. Nobody knows what to do with this game because it's the we're not used to this with San Diego, and especially with those winds. I don't know what's happening here. I lowered the risk.
Lowered the risk here?
There's a huge storm. I mean, everybody's texting me about it right now. We need it. I know it sounds weird to say, but we're going to flood, but it's been so dry.
There's some other variants, though.
The wind is – that's what I'm saying. The wind is like – if the wind kicks up to like in the 30s and stuff and it's ugly, they're just going to skip it. They're playing the weekend series. They can just play tomorrow. Actually, it's probably going to be an issue tomorrow, too.
When is that game?
It's at 10.
So 3 hours from now? 4 hours, 3.5 hours?
Yeah, it's also hard to imagine how they smash because of the nature of it. Like you could end up with 24-mile-an-hour winds blowing out or in at any time in the game. It's going to shift. This is going to be it's a real storm.
I have a couple of, actually not really. was gonna say I have a couple. I have 10% Dodgers. Yeah, I have 10% Dodgers.
I like that though. I mean, it's like
If
7%.
it's 9, I gotta remember. How am I gonna remember to do this? I'll remember somehow. Yeah, somehow I will remember.
Let's see. That is really weird to see Kiner Falefa hitting cleanup. I don't even know what to say about it. I'm really into this Rasmussen idea. I'm throwing him into a few. I think it's really, really sharp. I really do. I think that we treat the Yankees sometimes a way that I don't think they've earned. And I mean, this is just because the Yankees are on the back of the jersey doesn't, or the front of the jersey. It doesn't mean that, I don't know, like, why are we not playing Rasmussen? They have like a really low total. I don't know. To me, it makes no sense why we wouldn't play him. All right. With that, I think I said everything I'm doing today.
All right, I guess we can call it if you want.
It's not that I'm desperate to get out of here. I just wanted to.
No,
maybe
not at all.
I'm happy to stick around for a minute. Like, okay. I don't know. I just Veerling.
Well, dude, I gotta adjust my. I gotta obviously adjust my my truck series lineups.
Well, obviously.
I mean, come on.
So that's my hot take of the night, that in the lottery you should be that Abrams is going that Rasmussen will be on the winning lineup of the lottery. Well,
there you go.
It would have been. And there's a really bold take because like nobody's going to play him except for me. So I guess that means I'm saying I'm going to win the lottery tonight.
I like that.
I'll take that, man.
That works.
Yeah. Had some really good chances the other night, by the way. You mentioned the one on the 250, but I also had a chance, I believe it was the 88 that night.
Oh, really? Was it the same lineup?
No, different lineup. It was like similar though, and it had more points, but it was sort of looked like there was going to be some hope there. Oh, and the millionaire one was very frustrating. I really thought I was going to make I was like I think I was like in 15th place with the most time remaining of anybody in the top like 30.
Really?
And just literally had no hits left the rest of it. But it was like the third inning of the late night games. And then none of my guys got to hit the rest of the day. All right. I'm going to bounce pretty soon. So just let me know what's good for you.
Yeah, we'll bounce. But just hang in there. I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
I want to tell you the Al Bundy story.
Oh, yeah.
So good luck.